is not long enough. Another 10. All right, I found them. Okay, there's a pair of post bases for that garage. A little seat there to cover the bolts. And I gotta paint those next. It is just a beautiful morning down here. It looks like it's going to be good weather all week. Like 50 degrees. Probably get up to mid 60s. Should have brought shorts. Plumb right there, and the string is just barely touching it. If the corners are plumb, and then you string in between them, everything in between, well, it's straight and should be plumb, but that's just how you do it. So I'll go through and check these other ones real quick and get that done. The goal here today is to, I should talk about this. So once I get that back wall plumb, I'd like more brace on that, but the best way to do that is to set these two posts, which have to go in anyway, and then I can brace these corners down to that and that corner down to that. So once the back wall's done, we'll start with that, and then this corner here, since it's not attached to an outside wall, we'll plumb that and then worry about that in there. Oh, that looks great, but I'll check it. when the wool's straight but neutral, like it's not, there's no brace on it, but it's in position. You force it out a little bit. All right, I've got a block on the edge of that post and a block over there because I've got a brace in the way that I didn't want to pull because it's plumb right now, and when I put the post in, I can put a bigger brace on without having to rework that corner, so I can just override it without moving it. So I threw these two little blocks down right here, there and there, to remind me to set back 1.5 inches from the string when I lay out for these brackets so they're in the right spot. So I just check the brackets with the back, they're in the, or the post with the back, they're in the right spot. So now I'll pull the layout and get those marked out. Add some money. That's good. Man. Oh no. I broke my crayons. Okay, those ready. That's 150 in case anybody's wondering. All right, let's do it again. Right over there. I'm not going to film that. Actually, I'm going to film one more little thing. Stay on there. Stay on there. In case you're wondering, the post is wider than the end post, so it ends up being 9.5. So we're centered on a 9-inch post. Sorry, not 9.5, 9-inch post. So that actually puts that right at the front edge of that there. So we're good. All right, we know what the wall is at each end. We want to measure for those posts in the middle. We need to run a string. I just come down an equal foot. So here I've come down 6 foot, so I can measure right here and just add the feet and inches to that. 10-foot 1 3/4 at each end. We've got an 1.5-inch base plate, so we'd end up 10-foot 1/4. So at that being 6, we should end up with 48.25 inches, or 4-foot 1/4. .48 3/8, so that's an 1/8 low. And that's 48 on the money, so that's a 1/4 high, or so it could be some of that. Oh yeah, that went down. It's an 1/8 high. All right, so we got our measurements. What's it gonna be here? Cuff time. Okay, we'll get the beam set, cut and set, and then that way we can string line the top of everything like it's a wall, and then at that point we can put in our top bolt. Alright, here's a little magic from the truck you probably haven't seen before. I made these some time ago. I've got this beam going in and it sits on the wall, so it gets kind of tricky to get your straps out from under it. You can cut a chunk of top plate out. There's a couple strategies you can use. But I made these to kind of help with that. That's a piece of 1/4 by 1.5" cold rolled, and I cut a keyhole in it. 8-foot strap. We got a 20-foot beam, plus or minus 8 feet there. So let's go 7'6" and 8 feet. We'll circle the 8-footer. And just take a big-headed timber screw. And then you just don't get under it. Go set the back first. That is a first for me. I have never seen a set of 20s that are factory cut on both ends. I got factories on both ends here. Not complaining. Alright, little side note, I forgot that hanger that goes over here. So I'm going to space it a tiny little bit up so that I can slip the hanger in there tomorrow underneath. I can work around it today, but that will allow me to get the rest of these beams set. So I'm going to go screw that in. There's like 1.125" shelf of that plate to set it on, so I'll screw it through the backside of that Paralam and that'll hold it and I can work up there. Alright, that's screwed in. That's set back the amount for the rim and it should have put it plumb, so I'll go check it. That's good. You know, I could have been filming that whole thing. Dang it. All right, I'm gonna grab the glue and go set those 3, and then I'll take the remote with me so the next 4 are already hooked up when I'm up there. All right, so it looks pretty simple, but that's probably, let's see, that's 12 sheets. So that's 1.125 plywood, so that's about 13 inches. So it's a little over a foot. So at 32 square feet for the sheet, we'll add one more. So we'll go 33 feet and 33 cubic feet. It's probably 34 to 40 pounds a cubic foot. So somewhere between 1,400 and 1,550 pounds. So we'll take it up and out. You hear that? That's all the edges I have to fix. So we'll take that up and run it out far enough to get it on the deck, but we won't push it. Idea. I just knew the plywood is upside down. Dropped it off the truck or something. Another perfect morning down here. I think it's probably the last one for a while. Look at the time lapse. This is going to take a while. I'm going to interrupt the time lapse for a minute. I think I goofed here. I got to turn these into pockets for the bottom cord on the beam truss. I gotta go work that out. I'll be right back. I've got it all set up to turn into a pocket, and I've cut as much as I can from the outside, and I'll wait till after the wall's up to finish that out, but it works out fine. $298.3. Hey, $298.3. I'm not even gonna move. There's nowhere to go. Need 7 sheets, 10 footers. I gotta go get a ladder. I think that is it for these walls, the normal height walls up here for now. Everything else is rake walls and cheek walls, and we really got to put the roof on or start the roof out before we can put the interior walls in and the rest of the gables. So I think first thing we're going to do on the next trip back is start framing up this front wall downstairs. These sides are big tall rakes because the rafter departs from about there going up to meet up here, back down to that and there. So I think that load's coming on Monday. So we'll be back then.